Hi, my name is Salome Singh and today's vlog is about developmental pathways. So first, let me shed some light on developmental pathways. So there are basically 6 pathways of development. The pathways are physical, cognitive, language, social, ethical, and psychological. Today, however, we will be focusing on 2 of these pathways of development. The first pathway is cognitive pathway, which I will be taking you through, and physical pathway, in which my colleague Jaiwati Ramu will be taking you through. So the first question you might want to ask is, what is cognitive pathway of development? So here it is. This pathway refers to an individual's ability to think creatively and critically, also to retain and mentally manipulate information, and to set and work towards, that is, accomplishing desired goals. Cognitive development involves how children think, how they explore and figure things out. It also refers to things such as memory and the ability to learn new information. Now, there are different domains of cognitive pathway. These domains includes the development of knowledge and skills in different subject areas like mathematics, science, social studies, as well as creative arts. So, you might want to think, now, what is a cognitive pathway about? Why am I a teacher and talking about cognitive pathway? Well, teachers actually can make use of these pathways to assist children in their development. And by doing that, there are certain activities that we can include in teaching that will assist children in developing cognitive pathway. So 4 activities that I would like to share with you that can be used to enhance the child's development in cognitive pathway. These activities that I'll be sharing with you as well is not because I would like to share them, but an observation was done on each one of these activities on how it can assist the child or children to develop cognitively. So the first activity is storytelling. Now, we as nursery school teachers know the importance of storytelling. Storytelling is one of basically the biggest part or the biggest subject on our timetable in which we put extra focus on. So this is why storytelling has been chosen. So storytelling was chosen as an activity because it expands the learner's ability to listen, to comprehend, and to tell and to even retell stories. Storytelling has a facilitative effect on the cognitive process and personal development. It enhances children's ability to read, to write, to work, and to develop their imagination associated with problem solving, openness of new ideas, out-of-the-box thinking, and also risk-taking. Storytelling allows children to be a part of a different world, and it let them think differently. It not only brings out their creative imagination, but it also brings out dramatizing, where they get to actually feel what the story is about in their real life. So storytelling is one of the activities in which brings out cognitive development in children. For example, when the storytelling activity was being observed with the child, so the story was about runaway Sandy, and it was also there to bring out the role, or for the child to know what is the role of the vet. So after the story was told and we were asking questions about the story, so the first question that I asked was, what do you think would have happened, or what would you have done rather, if Sandy would have run away and he would have got injured? And right away, because of what was read in the story, the child would have already grabs the concept of what the vet does. So the vet said, if Sandy was injured, miss, I would have taken Sandy to the vet. I said, but what would the vet do with Sandy? The child was like, miss, the vet would have looked after Sandy. If Sandy had a broken leg, the vet would have bandaged Sandy's foot. And so the child went on and on to tell me about what the vet would have done. And he even went ahead to say why we need to take care of our pets so that they would not run away from home. Right? So this in itself tells you how important and how storytelling can help develop a child cognitively. They can bring out things that you don't even realize that comes out from a storytelling. So another activity that we would have observed and find that it brings out cognitive development in children is a fixing of a jigsaw puzzle. Now both you and I know fixing of a jigsaw puzzle is really not an easy task, but this is why it is used to bring out cognitive learning or cognitive development in children. So this activity was chosen during a math period to observe the child in fixing the jigsaw puzzle for mathematics, where he was to learn to identify numbers 1 to 20. So during the observation, it was observed that the jigsaw puzzle plays a great part in assisting with the cognitive development, since it helps to develop memory skill as well as the ability to think out of the box and assist with problem solving. So the reason why we say to assist with problem solving as well is because when the child was fixing the puzzle, well, we know jigsaw puzzle is not one way in which it can be fixed. So here the child was with this puzzle twisting and turning and moving and all of these things just to get the puzzle fixed, right? But at the end of the lesson, the child was able to fix the puzzle. Right? So the thing is, right? So because the child was trying to fix the puzzle, and when he fixed it one way, he didn't get it, he had to turn it around and fix it another way. Then the child was that smart enough to know that this color goes with this color. So he was looking at the objects on the puzzle, and he was saying, okay, this is yellow here, and I see a dog here. So this brown dog and this brown dog over here is going to go together. So he put them together. Again, he looked. After one is number 2. Number 2 had a yellow dog here, so he looked on the rest of the sets of puzzle and he saw another yellow dog. There he know that piece have to go here. And that is what is called problem solving. So he knew that he couldn't have this puzzle fixed one way, so he had to use creative imagination. He had to be thinking out of the box as to how will I fix this puzzle. And that was not all. His friend was also trying to fix the puzzle, so here we had competition going on. He wanted to fix the puzzle faster than his friend, so we had competition going on. So here he was thinking, how am I going to get this fixed? What methods am I to be using to get this puzzle fixed? So again, this is a very great activity that assists children cognitively. The third activity I would like to share with you is rhymes and singing. Now, we are nursery school teachers. We know what takes place when we does rhymes and singing. Each and every child loves rhymes and singing. You can have them not participating in any activities, maths, language, experience, social studies, whatever it is. They would not participate. But let us stand and let us start singing. Let us start repeating rhymes, and especially these catchy rhymes. You would see children involvement, and so we can use rhymes and singing to help to develop these children cognitively. Now, repetition of rhymes and singing is good for the brain, teaching how language works and improving memory, concentration, spatial intelligence, and also thinking skills, as we was just saying. So because the rhymes and song verses are made up of different patterns, children easily recalls and memorizes them. So when the child was being observed under this activity, the child did not, like we said, at first he did not participate because he probably thought, oh, it's another activity Miss is going to do that that I wouldn't be interested in. So when we started singing the song, we were singing Miss Polly Had a Doggy, because again we were looking at the vet. So we were singing Miss Polly had a doggy who was sick, sick, sick. And so we were showing the action and so on. And this child automatically got up and started participating. And so how can we bring out cognition, the development of cognition in rhymes and singing? So here what? We're not only going to be singing the song, but we're going to be asking questions. We're going to be asking them to dramatize their favorite part of the rhyme and singing. So at the end of the lesson, when it was time for them to express themselves and how they felt about the rhyme, this child was the first one to answer because he was so happy, he was so involved in the singing, and it interested him. So here he was, that Miss Polly, she had the doggy, and the doggy was very sick. So I said, who had to come fix the doggy? Who had to come help the doggy? Oh, miss, the vet came. So I said, if you were a vet, what would you have done? So the child, miss, I would have go with my hat and my bag, and I would have rock on the door with a rat-a-tat-tat. And I would have gone in, and I would have helped Miss Polly get her doggy well. I would have give him medicine and so on. So again, it helps the child to think. It opens critical thinking, and he even expresses himself using problem solving. If you were the vet, what you would have done, right? And again, here we see how much cognition can come out from rhymes and singing, how much we can use it to improve and help children to develop, right? So it opens the child's knowledge. It helps him to think differently, right, as to why he wanted to become the vet, and if he was the vet, what are some things that he would have done. And so the final activity as well that we can use as teachers in our classroom to assist or to enhance cognitive development is role play. This is a major one. This is a big one. So through role playing, we know that children develop communication skills and physical mannerism. According to research that was done, it says that a child's capacity to creatively think and a child's capacity in creative thinking and cognitive flexibility are closely linked to role play. Even Piaget theory told us that cognitive development proves that children around the ages of 2 to 7 years old who engage in playing learn more, right? In one of her theory, quote, one of the most examples of this kind of cognition is dramatic play, or what we also know as the improvised make-believe play, unquote, right? So children at play are able to solve problems, they are able to be creative, they are able to experiment and think and learn all at the same time. All right, so role play, it brings out so much in children, right? Especially cognitively, because children learn through play. And once they are able to fit themselves in these characters and they know exactly what it is that they have to do, it brings out all the aspect of cognitive development. All right, so those are 4 of the main activities in which I wanted to share that teachers can use to bring out or to enhance children's learning in cognitive development.
I am Jaiwati Ramu, and I will be taking you through the physical pathway development of children. This question may come to mind. What is physical pathway development? Physical pathway development is a major motor or physical achievement of a child during the infancy and early childhood stages. Physical development is a vital part of growing up as children learn to master control of their bodies. It helps children to acquire knowledge about their physical development and to use this knowledge to make good decisions. This domain involves the sense of touch, smell, taste, hearing, gross motor skills, which are the major involvement in large muscles, and fine motor skills, which involves small muscles, particularly that of the fingers and hands. Examples include sitting, crawling, standing, walking, jumping, purring, running, clapping, and many more. 4 activities that will assist teachers in developing children using the physical pathway are playing in the sand tray, playing in the water play area, jumping, and also playing the game hopscotch. Children will learn and acquire more refined gross and fine motor skill. Children will develop more physically and have a better coordination getting the arm, legs, and body to work together. Playing games is a great way for them to practice their hand-eye coordinations and gross motor skills. Children enjoy the company of other children, so seeing other children play games will motivate them, making them want to play also. Children will want to explore more, so the more we give them the opportunity, the more they will explore. I would recommend the sand tray as a physical pathway of development for children because children plays in a sand tray having different equipment they will not only want to dip the sand and throw it back into the tray, but they will also want to fill empty containers with sand and pour it back into the tray to see how much sand can fit in one container. They will want to know if they can fit all the sand in the tray in that one container. By using the sand tray, children will not only develop physically, but they will also develop cognitively. Children will be able to do things more physically and their muscles will be developed, which will help them to write and hold things better. Next, we have jumping. I would recommend jumping as a physical pathway of development for children because jumping is a large muscle development. It involves coordination and balance for children. Research has proven that jumping and fitness goes hand in hand. It is one of the simplest exercises with the most benefit for children. It helps children to learn body control, improves their posture and flexibility, and also helps them to relax and focus. Jumping helps children to free up their body and develop their muscles more. Thirdly, we have the game hopscotch. Hopscotch is a physical large muscle development game with countless benefits for children. This game helps children to master their body control, manage their body rhythm, which is a core of numerous other skills, and the movement involved body building strength, balance, eye-hand coordinations, and many more. Hopscotch will not only develop children physically, but it will also develop them cognitively. Lastly, we have the water play. Water play is a very beneficial activity for children because it enhances their gross motor skills, coordinations, and physical fitness through lifting, pouring, carrying, running, and squeezing. And it also will teach them to measure and average liquid. Children find water play very interesting because they want to pour water into containers and bottles and try not to make it fall out of the container or the bottle while pouring.
And now, the final part of this vlog, I will be taking you through how the physical and cognitive pathways overlap and whether it impacted the child positively or negatively as a result of the overlap. But before I go ahead, what do you think happened? Do you think that the overlap impacted the child positively or negatively? Well, I'm hoping that your answer is positively. So here's why we think, or from the observation, we concluded that it impacts the child positively. Because, first of all, physical development contributes to cognitive development. Jean Piaget's theory says that children learn more through play. Through play, children are able to develop both physically and cognitively because, as we said, through play, the child is being able to develop fine motor skills, motor development, eye-hand coordination, and those physical movements, as well as it helps them cognitively because it helps them with problem solving, critical thinking, and all of those things, right? So, cognitive development is influenced by physical development. Why? Because the brain and the motor skills naturally affect the development of thought patterns. So during the observation, right, we see how the physical and the cognitive pathways interplayed positively and how they contribute to each other. For example, the game of hopscotch, which my partner went through. It is a game used for physical development. However, you think about it. Without the development of the cognitive pathway, this child would have never been able to use his critical thinking or even use problem solving to know, first of all, where he would have had to jump, in how many pens he would have had to jump in, or counting the pens as he jumped in. Alright? Also, we would have seen both the physical and the cognitive development came out in fixing of the jigsaw puzzle. Now, you're there wondering, how is it that both physical and cognitive comes out with fixing a jigsaw puzzle? Now, let me tell you how. Fine motor development came into play, since through fixing and removing and turning the pieces of the puzzle to get it fixed into one, the child would have had to use his small muscle development, the movements in his small muscle movement in his hands and fingers, and even eye-hand coordination, right? So here's where this child is trying to fix this puzzle. The child is not going to just sit there and the puzzle is going to be fixed. The child is not just going to sit there and put the pieces of puzzles and it's going to be fixed. No, this child had to be using his creative imagination. This child had to be using critical thinking. He had to bring in problem solving. And with that, he had to be using his hands in order to fix the puzzle, in order to put the puzzle down, in order to take it out back, to move it, to bring another piece in, to see how that one fits in. So all of this, while he is doing that, he is using his muscles, his finger muscle, his fine motor muscles, right? So this is also how the overlapping take place, right? Because in one activity, both development came out, the physical as well as the cognitive. Right? And we see how positively that impact. We see how this development depends on the other development. How one development brings out the other development. Alright? And let me not stop there, because we can even use role play as another example. Alright? So this was seen in the role play where the child had to use used both pathways of development when caring for the animals. Right? So while he was role playing, caring for the animals, because remember he was the vet, he had to role play being the vet, right? So here he had to be using his hands, where muscle development came in, bandaging, cutting the bandage to wrap around the dog's leg, and those things. He had to be using small muscle, as well as at the same time had to be using critical thinking as well, right? He had to be thinking out of the box. He had to be using his memory, right? To remember, oh, what is this? What am I using this bandage for again? Or this gauze, where am I putting this gauze? So there's a dog in front of me who have a broken leg. What is it that I have to do? So critical thinking, problem solving technique you see coming out from that again. Out of the box thinking had to be coming out there again, right? So all of these things, critical thinking and problem solving techniques, all of it that he had to be used, had to be coming out before the task could have been accomplished. Alright? So these are three of the activities that I would have discussed with you that shows you how the overlapping takes place and how it impacted the child. Right? It did positively, because at the same time, we have both of it coming out, and we have the child using both his physical and his cognitive development. Alright? So therefore, the development of the child is affected positively as a result of the overlapping that occur between the two domains. Alright? So I hope this vlog would have been helpful. This vlog has been done as an assignment for CPCE, and this is where we would have shared with you the developmental pathways, both cognitively and physically.